The story of the British United Kingdom is not one of peaceful unification. It is a tale steeped in blood, conflict and relentless ambition. From the Roman invasions to the Anglo-Saxon conquests, early Britain was a cauldron of conflict. The land was a battleground for various tribes and invaders, each vying for control and dominance. The arrival of the Normans in 1066, led by William the Conqueror, marked a turning point. This was not just another invasion, it was a seismic shift in the power dynamics of the region. The Battle of Hastings changed the course of English history forever. The Normans brought with them new governance, new architecture, and a new way of life that would reshape the island. The old ways were swept aside, replaced with a new social order, a new language, a new England. Norman castles rose from the ground, symbolizing the new era of feudalism and centralized power. The crowns of England and Scotland, once separate entities, were eventually united. This union was not born out of mutual respect, but rather through political maneuvering and strategic marriages. Ireland too was drawn into this burgeoning kingdom, but not as an equal partner. The Irish were often subjugated and their lands seized, leading to centuries of strife and rebellion. The seeds of centuries of conflict and resentment were sown in these early years, casting a long shadow over the future of the United Kingdom. The legacy of these turbulent times is still felt today, a reminder of the blood that forged a nation. The Tudor dynasty, rising to power amidst the ashes of the Wars of the Roses, was a beacon of change and transformation in medieval England. This powerful family left an indelible mark on the fledgling kingdom, shaping its future in ways that would echo through the centuries. Henry VII, a shrewd and ambitious king, secured the throne through cunning and bloodshed. His victory at the Battle of Bosworth Field ended decades of civil war and established a new era of stability. His son Henry VIII shattered England's ties with the Roman Catholic Church, triggering a wave of religious and social upheaval. His desire for a male heir led to the creation of the Church of England, forever altering the religious landscape. The reigns of his children, Edward VI, Mary I, and Elizabeth I, were no less tumultuous. Edward's short reign was marked by Protestant reforms, while Mary's attempt to restore Catholicism earned her the nickname Bloody Mary. Elizabeth I, the last of the Tudor monarchs, faced numerous challenges, including the threat of invasion by the Spanish Armada. This mighty fleet, sent by Catholic Spain to depose her, was narrowly defeated, securing her place in history. The Tudor era was one of dramatic transformation, of religious and political upheaval, but also of the consolidation of royal power. The monarchy became more centralized, and the foundations of modern England were laid. It was a period that saw England emerge as a major power on the European stage, but at a heavy cost. The legacy of the Tudors is a complex tapestry of ambition, conflict and change, forever etched into the annals of history. The reign of the Stuart dynasty succeeding the Tudors proved to be a period of intense political and religious turmoil. The Stuarts, believing in the divine right of kings, clashed with Parliament, igniting a struggle for power. England, under the rule of Charles I, descended into civil war. The conflict pitted parliamentarians against royalists. The execution of Charles I in 1649 marked a pivotal moment in English history. The Commonwealth of England, established under Oliver Cromwell, proved to be a short-lived experiment in republicanism. The restoration of the monarchy in 1660, with Charles II ascending the throne, did little to quell the underlying tensions. With the dawn of the 18th century, the British Empire began its relentless expansion across the globe. Driven by a thirst for resources and power, the British imposed their rule on vast swathes of the world. The transatlantic slave trade saw millions of Africans forcibly transported to the Americas in chains. The quest for colonial dominance led to bloody conflicts, from the French and Indian War to the subjugation of India. The legacy of British imperialism is complex and multifaceted. The scars of colonialism, from economic inequality to political instability, continue to shape the world today. Section 5. The sun never sets on bloodshed. The Victorian era, often romanticised as a period of peace and prosperity, was in reality a time of great social and economic inequality. The Industrial Revolution created a new underclass of factory workers, condemned to toil in dangerous conditions. Child labour was rampant, with children as young as 5 working long hours in factories and mines. The Victorian era also saw the rise of a powerful working-class movement demanding better working conditions, fair wages, and political representation. This period of social unrest laid the groundwork for the labour movements of the 20th century. While the British Empire continued its expansion abroad within its borders, the seeds of social and political change were being sown. Section 6. Victorian-era progress and its discontents. While Queen Victoria's reign saw Britain reach unimaginable heights of global power, the cracks beneath the surface of its society were widening. The Industrial Revolution created a new underclass, toiling in dangerous factories for meagre wages. Cities swelled with desperate souls fleeing rural poverty, only to find themselves crammed into squalid slums. The chasm between the wealth of the aristocracy and the poverty of the working class grew ever wider. The Victorian era, a time of contradictions, laid bare the inherent flaws of an empire built on exploitation and inequality. The seeds of doubt would eventually blossom into a full-fledged reckoning. Section 7. World Wars, Echoes of Thunder. The 20th century dawned with a deafening roar as Europe plunged into World War I. Britain, drawn into the conflict by its alliances, found itself locked in a brutal struggle. The trenches of the Western Front became a nightmarish symbol of the war's brutality. World War II, erupting a mere 2 decades later, proved to be an even greater test of Britain's resolve. Facing the Nazi onslaught, the nation stood defiant, enduring the Blitz with a spirit of resilience. The 2 world wars left an indelible mark on Britain's psyche, emerging from the conflict battered and diminished. Section 8. Twilight of Empire. A legacy of ashes. The aftermath of World War II saw the rapid dismantling of the British Empire. The war had drained Britain's resources and weakened its global influence, making it increasingly difficult to maintain control over its vast territories. India, the jewel in the crown of the empire, gained its independence in 1947, marking a significant turning point in the history of the British Empire. However, the partition into India and Pakistan was marred by violence, leading to one of the largest mass migrations in history and leaving a legacy of bitterness and conflict. The Suez Crisis of 1956 marked a humiliating blow to Britain's waning prestige. The failed attempt to regain control over the Suez Canal highlighted Britain's diminished power on the world stage. The legacy of the British Empire remains a subject of intense debate and scrutiny. Scholars, historians, and the general public continue to grapple with the complex and often contradictory nature of British colonial rule. While some point to the positive aspects of British rule, such as the development of infrastructure, educational institutions, and legal systems, others argue that these were merely tools of imperial control, designed to benefit the colonizers at the expense of the native populations. The British Empire was a complex and contradictory entity, capable of both great brutality and remarkable achievements. Its impact varied widely across different regions and peoples. Capable of both great brutality and remarkable achievements, the British Empire left an indelible mark on the world. Its legacy continues to shape the world we live in, for better or for worse. The remnants of British colonial architecture, legal systems, and cultural influences can still be seen in many former colonies today, serving as a reminder of a bygone era. Section 9. Modern Britain, wrestling with ghosts. Modern Britain finds itself at a crossroads, grappling with the ghosts of its past while trying to forge a new identity. The legacy of empire continues to cast a long shadow, fueling debates about immigration, national identity, and Britain's place on the world stage. The Brexit vote in 2016 exposed deep divisions within British society. Despite the challenges it faces, Britain remains a nation of great resilience, creativity, and cultural influence. From its world-renowned universities to its thriving arts and music scenes, Britain continues to punch above its weight. The story of Britain is still being written, evolving, and leaving its mark on the world. Section 10. The Weight of History, the Echoes of the Past. The narrative of the British United Kingdom is a complex tapestry, woven from threads of triumph and tragedy. It is a story of kings and queens, of conquerors and revolutionaries, of ordinary people caught in the currents of history. The echoes of the past reverberate through the ages, shaping the present and influencing the future. To understand Britain today, one must delve into its past, to explore the dark corners and hidden truths that lie beneath the surface.